What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a film that was released just recently on Shudder, and I don't believe this is a Shudder original film, but it is a film that had a pretty limited release. It's relatively low budget, and when I was reading the premise, it sounded incredibly interesting, and a lot of the early reviews that I read for this movie were very positive, which was exciting because I feel like as far as Shudder is concerned this year, I haven't really been super impressed with the selection of newer release movies they've put out this year, especially in their originals department, with the exception of like Influencer. There hasn't really been a ton of films on their streaming service that I've been really excited to watch, and so when I read the reviews for this movie, I was really looking forward to checking it out. And the film I'm going to be discussing today is Manfish. Manfish is directed by Mark Coleman. When a humanoid sea creature washes up in Terry's bleak life, they quickly develop feelings for each other. But can man love fish, and will Terry's older criminal brother get his hands on the creature before Terry can decide how he feels? So yes, this is a story very similar to Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water, but with a man as the lead character instead of a woman. And I was really excited to watch this, especially because I love Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water, and this movie was fine. It's not really as spectacular and incredible as all these glowing reviews are touting it to be from early on. It's relatively serviceable, it has its charming moments, but unfortunately it's an hour and 20 minutes long and it feels bloated. You feel the runtime at about the halfway point through the movie, and you just feel like it could have been streamlined to get to the point a little bit quicker, but I'll elaborate more on that in the review. At the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Terry. He's kind of a loner. He's wandering the beach by himself. Very early on, we're introduced to his wife or girlfriend. I can't remember if they explicitly state if they're married or not. And his brother. And his brother is a criminal. He's involved in drug dealing, and his girlfriend or wife or partner is also involved in that. And you can kind of see from early on that his partner and his brother have a weird relationship between one another. From very early on, you can tell there's probably more to that relationship. And Terry is kind of an outsider, and we can see early on that he's made fun of by a lot of people around him. He doesn't seemingly fit into the groups in this small town. And early on, he's out wandering the beach, and he finds this sea creature caught up on the beach, and so his brother is there too. The two of them take it to the house, and it starts interacting with them, and Terry starts teaching it how to eat and how to interact with other people. It can't speak, but he essentially is trying to teach it about life and their way of life, and the two of them start to form this bond and this relationship together. Even though the creature can't talk to him, it seems to have understanding and empathy towards Terry, and the two of them form this blossoming relationship. And it's all about, can love between these two characters survive amidst the chaos that is going on around them? So, as I said, every single review that you read of this movie online is comparing it to Shape of Water because it's a human falls in love with a fish-type creature story arc. And the thing with Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water, I remember when that movie came out and how people were like, oh my god, it's so weird, it's so strange, but there's such a beautiful underlying message in that movie about just loving yourself no matter who you are, and despite your weirdness or your quirks or how society perceives you, that you should love yourself for who you are as a person. And there's a lot of deeper, more underlying themes that exist in that film as well, and it's portrayed so beautifully. The cinematography is incredible, the creature design is fantastic, and it's just a really immersive and amazing movie that I grow to appreciate more every time I revisit it. So when you're comparing something like this to that movie, you're looking for a lot of the same hallmarks, right? Obviously, it's not going to have the same level of budget. The visual effects aren't going to be as spectacular because these people don't have Guillermo del Toro's people working on their movie. But you expect that sort of heart, that same sort of moving element that Guillermo del Toro's film has, and this has it in moments, especially with the fact that it's technically two male characters. It's a fish character, but it's implied that it is a male, and you expect some hard-hitting emotional punch. And aside from the fact that, they kind of show Terry's character at the beginning being this outcast, and some moments of him discussing some trauma and his childhood, the movie doesn't do a great job of building to an emotional climax that is really heavy or that weighs on you in any way in particular that feels special or unique. I kept just waiting for the film to draw me in and really bring forth something that was going to stick with me and resonate with me. And when the movie was over, it immediately kind of just left my brain. I was like, oh, there was a couple of moments that were charming. There's a lot of really silly humor in this movie that I think works well for it. There's also a lot of attempts at humor that don't necessarily pack as intense of a punch as I think the director was hoping for. I feel like the bleak cinematography that the film has, it's very muted and gray, doesn't necessarily complement the tone of the film very well, because yes, the character is isolated and he's dealing with some issues, but the movie is trying to show like this character comes into his life and brings him this brightness and this joy in these moments that he feels at his lowest. And that really muted cinematography doesn't accompany that feeling very well. It leaves you staring into this very gray, darkish looking film that you know, I just expected the visuals to kind of complement that shift in one way or another. And the way that the fish monster looked worked for what the movie was going for, and especially with its low budget, I could 100% get down with what they were doing with it. But I expected a lot more out of this movie, especially with a lot of the really heavily praising reviews. And honestly, for me, it was just mostly forgettable, and I probably wouldn't revisit it anytime in the near future. So have you seen Manfish? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was very mediocre. I was really expecting a lot more, and it didn't do a whole lot for me, unfortunately. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.